Welcome to the Hunger Action Heroes podcast. Hunger Action Heroes is a production of the Food Bank of the Golden Crescent. The Food Bank of the Golden Crescent was established in 1986 as the Community Food Bank in Victoria, Texas. Our mission is helping heal the hurt of hunger in our 11-county service area: Calhoun, Colorado, DeWitt, Goliad, Gonzales, Jackson, Lavaca, Matagorda, Refugio, Victoria, and Wharton. We passionately advocate for a hunger-free Texas. Your host, Chris Doelle, will bring you a message from our sponsor and get right into the episode. Stick around.
The Hunger Action Heroes podcast by the Food Bank of the Golden Crescent is made possible by the generous support of the HEB Hunger Relief Program. HEB Hunger Relief works year-round to fight hunger in Texas and Mexico. Hunger relief has been a key focus for HEB since the first store opened back in 1905. For more than a century now, HEB's commitment and involvement in the communities it serves has been an important part of the way the company does business. Since the inception of the Hunger Relief Program, HEB has donated over 1 billion pounds of food to help nourish neighbors in communities throughout Texas and Mexico. Thank you to the HEB Hunger Relief Program.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Hunger Action Heroes podcast by the Food Bank of the Golden Crescent. I'm Chris Doelle, your host, and I want you to please join me in welcoming the coordinator of God's Storehouse in Nixon, Angela Alexander. How are you doing, Angela?
I'm well. Thank you for my introduction. I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, you know, they have to know who I'm talking to. I get it. So, first, I know I'm going to throw you a curveball here because this one usually freaks people out. Instead of talking about God's Storehouse, which is the main focus, I want to talk about you first. Where did you grow up, and how did you get to Nixon?
Well, it was a long road to get to Nixon, and I sort of backed into this position. Mm-hmm. I grew up in inner city Chicago.
Oh, wow.
And currently we have a branch outside of Nixon, Texas, and Nixon boasts of being a town of 2,000. It was outside of it. So it is different than the way I grew up.
Yes. And how long were you in Chicago?
I grew up in Chicago. I went to college in Texas, but I grew up in Chicago. So
nice. And then where'd you go to college?
I went to college at the University of Texas in Austin.
Oh, nice. So you went deep in the heart of Texas first time here.
Well, yes, I did.
So what got you from Chicago after you graduated? What got you from Chicago to Texas?
Well, we have moved around a lot. My parents moved to Texas, and originally I thought I'd go back up because they're from up north, but I ended up just staying in Texas, and I've moved around a bit for years, and we ended up at a ranch outside of Nixon, and I asked a volunteer for God's Storehouse Food Pantry and Research Shop for 2 hours a month. And I thought, I can probably do 2 hours a month.
Yeah.
And through a series of unfortunate events, there was no one that knew how to order food.
Oh, no.
And so I really didn't want us to close our doors for left food. So the Food Bank of the Golden Crescent taught me how to order food.
Awesome. And when was that? How long ago?
That was probably 2021.
Oh, okay. Nice.
2021. And our volunteers and the food bank staff taught me everything I know about food pantries and food banks. I literally didn't know anything. I'm a retired special ed teacher, and I had no background providing food. So I probably more than most really appreciate the Food Bank of the Golden Crescent because I had no background. Everything I've learned, I've either learned through our volunteers or from them.
Nice. And what made you reach out to them in the first place?
Well, we had a God's Storehouse food pantry and resale shop has been a member of the food bank for 5 years.
Okay.
And so God's Storehouse has been participating with the food bank for many years, but as it turned out, there was no one was around that was used to interfacing with them or getting food from them.
Got it. Yeah. So the relationship was there already. It just was a matter of somebody needed to step up and figure it all out.
Our food pantry had a lengthy relationship with the food bank, and so they were very knowledgeable. They're very caring. They're wonderful, and we could not do what we do without provide education and knowledge for the volunteers and food for clients. So we really appreciate them.
Yeah, I tell you, Robin and her staff do such a good job of just organization and from what it sounds like here, kind of exporting organization, not just food.
Yes. Organization, knowledge, best practices, all of those things we're very good with. And every staff member that I have had the opportunity to work with has been awesome at the Food Bank of the Golden Crescent. I just can't say enough good about it.
Nice. And so God's Storehouse is a food pantry and a resale shop. Which one came first, or was it at the exact same time?
It was almost at the same time. God's Storehouse has been around for over 40 years. And there are 3 women that started God's Storehouse, and they said that God was calling them, asking to feed his people. And these women were Virginia Wynn, Gladine Finch, and Dorothy Richardson. And they started literally with a crock pot of soup. And about the second week that they had a crock pot of soup, someone had leftovers and asked if they would like them. So by the second or third week, not only were they feeding people, but they had a resale shop going.
Nice. And
for years they moved around in a vacant building and then another vacant building until the landlord would lease it, and they moved around. And then probably 10 years after they started, the Methodist Church offered them a building at the back of their church, and we were there for like 30 years.
Wow.
So we just built a new building last year. So we have had a relationship with the community and with the Methodist Church for a very long time.
Yeah, and that was my next question, your relationships with the local community. Tell me about the organizations, places you work with, and how you work together.
Well, we are fortunate because not only are we blessed to work with the food bank, but we have wonderful community support and community partners. We grants from the Third Coast Bank. We receive grants from the Commissioner's Court, and we have other online supporters, and we have partners with the Lions Club to provide churches and all of the food for our clients to make Thanksgiving and Christmas meals for over the last 15 years. Last year in 2024, the Lions Club provided 60 turkeys, 60 sacks of food to make a holiday meal for both Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Excellent. And as far as on a regular basis, what are the numbers in terms of people and or families that you feed or clothe?
Well, we have other community sponsors, like when we built our building, GVEC gave us a grant to do that, and we work with our school district several different ways. We try to put courtesy bags for the school district for each campus, so if one of the staff members realize that a student's family needs food, they can send it home that day. The school district does an annual canned goods drive for us.
Mm-hmm.
And this December they collected 2,573 canned goods.
Wow.
And most of those cans go to our blessing box, which is sort of like one of those free little libraries.
Mm-hmm.
It's outside of our building, and you can access it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so that if we are closed, they can get food. And our blessing box has a sign that says, please take what you need, please leave what you can, and may this food be a blessing to you and yours.
I love that.
Accessed on a regular basis, and we're happy to be able to have donations.
Nice. And what about just sheer numbers of people that you serve? Do you have an idea of that?
Well, yes. When we were building our new building, there was a lot of, there were many people that helped us with that.
Mm-hmm.
And we have had increased numbers after our God Storehouse expansion. When I really got started, Virginia Wynn had passed away, and her family started a God Storehouse expansion fund, and the community just contributed, and we had unwavering support from the Methodist Church here in Nixon, the Wynn family, and I said that we got a grant from GDED, and it was built by many volunteers. And so with our grand opening of our new building in November of 2024, we saw a significant increase in the families that we are serving.
Mm-hmm.
And part of it is our new building. I think part of it is our Facebook page, articles in the Gonzales Inquirer. We're listed on the Food Bank of Golden Crescents pantry list, and which I think is very helpful. And last year, in 2024, we served 1,954 families, and we served 5,254 family members.
Wow.
And served the Nixon, Smiley, Leesville, and surrounding areas. And that's a significant increase from 2023. But like I said, we did have a new building, and we've had a lot of lists. And so I'm sure that went into that. But it seemed like that there's an increasing need for food in our community.
Yeah, yeah. And out of the food that you disseminate and give away, what percentage of that food is provided by the food bank?
Quite a bit of our food, I would probably say 75 to 80%. The rest is food donations, and every once in a while we do purchase food, but it's usually donations. And most of the donations we get goes to our blessing box. And and all of the food that we get from the food bank goes to our clients that come into the food pantry.
Got it. Excellent. And before I let you go, is there anything that I should have asked that I failed to bring up?
Well, there's probably a lot of things that I would like to share because I'm just so proud of our ministry and how many people we serve. We are a staff of all volunteers. Mm-hmm. And I think we are somewhat unique in that we have many clients who volunteer.
Sweet.
Not all food pantries include clients, but that's 3 wonderful volunteers. They're all sisters. And they started out as clients who wanted to give back and thanks for the food that was provided for their families. And today they are literally the backbone of our ministry. Our founder set out to feed God's people, and our volunteers 40 years later model their volunteerism after our mission statement, which is to share God's love and blessings by providing food, clothing, and other necessities to those experiencing hardship within our community. We hold the Lord people in our hearts. And we really do have amazing volunteers. a wonderful thing to be a part of.
I love that. I love that so much. Angela Alexander with the God Storehouse in Nixon. Guys, I want to thank you so much for sitting down with me and sharing some of your great story and great work that y'all are doing there.
Well, it is a wonderful story, and we appreciate being able to share it. Thank you so much.
You too. Take care. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.